A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the program. We remain your source for all the latest happening in the world of business. My name is Susan Obiako. On our lineup this week, we speak to Mr. Fatai Kayode Lawa, Chairman, Sterling Assurance Nigeria Limited, on the business of insurance in the face of emerging risk. According to him, the challenge that insurers face at the moment is carrying out proper underwriting, pricing their risk appropriately, and having a robust reassurance treaty. Take a listen.
The global challenge of emerging risk will continue. It's just that insurers must up their game, ensure that they assess those risks adequately and appropriately, and charge adequate premium. Once that is done, and they reinsure effectively. Once the insurer do these three things, we will do a proper assessment of risk to determine the vulnerability to losses, and you also price the risk appropriately, and thirdly, we effectively reinsure those risks. That's all that insurance company.
On this edition also, we bring you ExUp from the maiden edition of the Independent Newspaper Insurance Summit in Lagos, organized under the theme, Inclusive Insurance, Navigating the New Narrative for Sectoral Growth, at the Lagos Oriental Hotel, Lagos. Check it out. What more can I say than to urge you to sit back and enjoy the lineup? Details in a moment. Please stay with us.
We call them emerging risk as a result of changing the way that people live. One, there are those associated with climate change, there are those associated with technological change, and there are those that are associated with cyber crime. That's why I just use the word the way we live and breathe. What this is doing to insurance is that it requires the creativity of underwriters in assessing this risk and pricing it appropriately. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, even the basic insurance, we are not taking it. In recent time, you will have heard about several fire incidents on market area. They were so big that those things are so heavy, and they were happening in the last 3 months. They've had that inferno 3 times, affecting large scale value. Because in most of those areas, the amount the cost that is associated with trade is so huge. Nigeria is in trading environment. And in those areas, they have quite an enormous amount of capital invested that were destroyed in that river. And you have a fire incident that's affecting almost 10 houses. And in those 10 houses, I just do want to give an estimate for the cost because I'm not directly involved and I'm not assessing. But I know it's not less than 100 or 50 or better. These are the informal sector of the economy. And we've had 3 incidents within 3 months or 6 months. That is our challenge. The global challenge of imagining risk continue. It's just that insurance costs up their game, ensure that they assess those risks appropriately and charge adequate premium. Once that is done, and they reinsure effectively. Once the insurer do these 3 things, we will do a proper assessment of risk to determine the vulnerability to losses, and you also price the risk appropriately, and thirdly, you effectively reinsure those risks. That's all that insurance for.
Premiumcom.
No, I think one is the apathy of the traders themselves. The second one, I also think that the insurance companies also need to do a little more in selling those products to them. One of the early products we developed instead then was called it traders insurance, because I'm a son of a trader. I grew up in the shops. I run around and I know what it entails. So, unfortunately, we're not able to make any appreciable progress. These traders live from hand to mouth. They don't believe in tomorrow. They believe that they will sell today, they make money, and they can always replicate their business. Until very recently, incident of losses is not common to them. But it doesn't mean that it does not happen. But it does happen, but it's not regular. But the ones that are happening in recent times is enormous. And I think that if we should make the association, the traders association, to be interested in finding a means to this. Because at the end of that fire, if there are 200 people in that shopping area that are affected, I can bet you more than 120, 150 of them will not be able to afford that area again.
Premiumcom.
Like I said, essentially, insurance companies are supposed to ensure that they proactively anticipate some of these emerging losses, ensure that the risk is well assessed and priced appropriately, and thirdly, they should do effective insurance. That's the best that they can do. All that insurance does is to spread risk. You have a risk of 100 million here, keep 10, do 10 to other markets, they take their own too. And at the end, when you have 100 in a basket and suffer one loss, the effect will be less than if you keep only your own 10 and you suffer loss from 1 out of 10. Whereas if you suffer loss of 1 out of 100, your chances of being able to recover is high.
Premiumbeat.com.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but I know globally there is this International Insurance Society in the US and that run Global Insurance Forum here. They have, in the last 5 years, been taking climate change as a major issue for discussion. And they've always been calling attention to it because they know that at the end of the day, the insurance stands to lose when incidents like the one in UAE happen. If people went to the extent of canvassing this on the floor of the UN, as I remember, I can't remember the year, about 7 or 8 years ago when the forum had their program in New York, they went to the UN, the United Nations, and one of the purposes was to encourage world leaders to start considering the impact of climate change on the environment. It didn't happen then, it's not happening now.
Premiumbeat.com.
This is where the structure that we have of periods. One, our structure governmentally provides or recognize the head of the National Insurance Commission as like the insurance advisor to government. The insurance company can't sell their products to government. They're not supposed to be advisors. They want to sell so that they can make money out of government. So it is the responsibility, and it depends on how the government also position that agency that should be the one on a day-to-day basis to advise them on how to go about protecting the populace.
Excerpts from independent newspapers Maiden edition of Insurance Summit in Lagos.
We have seen an increased demand for insurance, but we see that the demand for insurance still comes strongly from the products that are compulsory. Even where we're pushing for enforcement of all the compulsory insurances, it's important to us as an industry that people begin to buy insurance not because it's compulsory, but because they need it, but because they see the need for it. So that's our challenge. So we've seen that increased awareness. A lot more needs to be done. One of the things the insurance industry has always also focused on strongly over the last 10 years is improving customer experience, both from the regulator to the NIA to the companies. Paying attention to customer experience has become a big thing. Making sure that the customers are happy, their claims are paid, and the claims are paid on time has been a strong focus for the industry to make sure that those who buy at all have a great experience when they suffer a loss. And this is something that we're all going to continue to do. Now, speaking about inclusion, again, I've spoken about the regulator and the licensing of microinsurance, Takaful, and then the push of the industry for retail business. What have we done in this stead? We've seen lots of products developed for the retail sector. We've seen the use of technology as a channel, to diversify how people can purchase insurance services. We've seen micro-insurance products come to light. Even micro-health insurance products are now available. So when you see people suffer sicknesses or ailments and they don't have any form of insurance, it really just tells to how much we need to educate, people about this. Technology and digitalization has helped our inclusion journey significantly and we are continually driving, these channels using technology. Why should the public embrace insurance? I've said and I repeat again, that is a form of financial security. It's a form of risk management. It gives you peace of mind when you purchase assets, when you go about your life, when you're planning your education, when you're in school, when you buy your phones and you buy your equipment, it's compliance. We need to comply with the regulatory ones. And then it's a form of community resilience. We see fires come up in communities, people are affected, people die. The communities need to begin to pay attention to insurance. Financial literacy programs is one of the things that NICOM, the regulator, has done a lot of, and the industry is doing more of, to get more and more people engaged, get more and more people to understand this concept that is still far from the understanding of many. The regulator has put in lots of reforms to make us more accessible. I don't know of any other regulator in this market that has customer experience interactions with clients where they can even report when they're not happy with their insurer. What we need a lot of now is a lot of collaboration and partnerships to drive the insurance message. And I'll speak lastly to the role of curbing unemployment and what insurance does in that regard. We have very structured agency programs that pretty much anyone can engage with, joining Arian, to continue to help us to drive the insurance message and sell insurance products. Limited knowledge, increasing awareness, building products, diversifying pricing is a challenge for the insurance industry and one that we have to continue to drive in to increase awareness and penetration of the insurance sector. One thing I also believe needs to happen very strongly to help drive this new narrative is a lot of collaboration between all the regulators. The banking sector, we need as an insurance sector to begin to lend more and to begin to use insurance as a security for their lending. Banks have so many more channels, both physical channels and digital channels, that insurance products can be sold through, that can help us increase this penetration and increase awareness. So we do need a lot of collaboration between the sectors. And the NICOM, our regulator again, has developed bank assurance framework to enable us do businesses through banks to the bank customers.
The insurance industry would also need to think like the technos did, to create a product that has mass appeal, to start with people in the lower rung of the community. For instance, you have so many communities that are prone to erosion. A lot of farmers have to deal with erosion. A lot of farmers have to deal with things that deal with their crops. A lot of herders who've moved their cattle across the country have to deal with a lot of eventualities. What kind of product are we selling to these peoples whose entire livelihood can be wiped out by a natural disaster or by a particular phenomenon? That's the work of product and market development that we need to do to create products that are affordable. Another interesting thing that I think that can happen is that, again, there has to be a lot of innovative thinking. If I buy an insurance product in a year, for instance, all of us are mandated to buy a motor insurance by the government, which is easy revenue if you asked me, for insurance companies. You don't have to do any work. The government has made that easy for you. But that also gives you an opportunity to make an impression that many insurance companies have failed to do. So my motor insurance have never actually tried to sell me any other thing. Never made an effort to do the list. You have my data. You have everything, the car I drive, so you can actually rank my income line by the car I drive. You have the data of where I live, and you have all of this information, and you have not been able to sell me any other thing. So it's a complete waste of data. So I guess because you're sitting on free money, where the government has mandated all of us to do motor insurance, you have not thought innovatively about it. And finally, the last point I'd like to make is, what else does an insurance card get me? If I buy an insurance from your company, does that give me discounts in a hotel when I travel outside my state? Does that afford me discounts in a gym? Does that afford me discounts when I try to get on a plane? What I'm saying in essence is that insurance companies will need to explore collaborative opportunities that adds a lot more value to an insurance package. Because if I go an entire year of having an insurance product and my house doesn't go on fire, if I do it year 1, year 2, and year 3, and the economic crunch comes into play, I'm likely not to do it on the 4th year. But if that insurance package affords me a discount when I travel, if it affords me a membership to an exclusive club, to a gym, or to other things, so there are added benefits that come into play that makes me see the product as extremely valuable. So I think that also has to be explored to offer a lot more benefits to consumers. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Number one, the affordability. I don't think that we Nigerians don't have money to buy insurance, from my own experience. Recently, about 28 buildings was razed down by terrible fire at this Lagos market. And if you look at the whole loss, it will be running to several millions of naira. Those people that are market women or men there that are selling all this stuff, they have invested quite a number of money. And now, if they don't insure their goods, including the property, how are they going to recover? So to me, for you to have 15 million that you are using to trade and you allow it to go down the drain. So to me, I don't believe that we Nigerians don't have the money to afford to pay for insurance premium. I think is the belief that, okay, maybe if I insure my things, I might not get claim when the time comes. But from our own experience and the little opportunity I have to have worked with some of the sectoral sector of the industry, in particular the NIA, Nigerian Insurance Association, they have a research book that they publish every year, which they call Nigerian Insurance Digest. In this document, you will see how each of these insurance companies are performing, and is a knowledge-based research. Now, it has been segmented there. If it is fire, you see how some insurance companies are performing. You see the claims they pay. All these things are there for the citizens to look at and to take decision on the insurance company they want to go with or the kind of product they want to buy from the insurance industry. And I think the industry has to look into how this research book can get to the public domain. Thank you.
We can give you the list of insurance companies today. As we sit here today, there are about 39 insurance companies licensed to insure motor. I hope I'm correct, but we can fact check that. About 39 are given license. But you're surprised that on the road and you ask somebody, or there's an accident, and you ask the other party, please, can you provide your insurance certificate? You'll be surprised to find a name of an insurance company that you never heard of before. Or the name is even twisted. Those days we will have unique, and they will write it unique, U-N-I-Q-U-E. It's pronounced unique. And when you have U-N-I-C, it's also pronounced unique. And all of this. But we have all of so much, somebody, Mrs. Ilori spoke about collaboration. The Nigerian Insurance Association is collaborating with the police and LASMA and all of that to enforce all of this. I just want you to speak to us, sir. How can the Nigerian Police Force help the insurance industry on this inclusiveness from the area of motor insurance? Thank you very much, sir.
Premiumbeat.com.
That's our time on the program this week. Many thanks for spending time with us. Join us again, same time, same station next week for a fresh package. Feel free to connect with us on all our social media platforms. If you missed any part of today's episode, watch again on our YouTube channel, Almond Finance TV. Watch this and other exciting content. My name is Susan Obiako. From the entire team is a goodbye.